Hello, it's the Solitary GM back with another video on the Ruthless Heavens Boundless Fate. A little playthrough with our Ascendant Arctic Blowguard. Ruthless Heavens Boundless Fate, again, a fabulous game by Black Oath Entertainment. You can find a copy of this on DriveThruRPG or itch.io or the author's website. I think he may have a few copies available still there. So if this video or this video series that I have done interests you, that is where you can get the game. So let's go ahead and get started. Our character here, Arctic Blowguard, is a rather new ascendant. He's a young Talonsong initiate at all levels. He has fumbled his way through Eros and landed himself a debt at the inn and a job that doesn't start for a week, and he has no crystals. But he has met a few individuals that he enjoyed, and now we pick up his story just after he accepted the job with the Archivist clan, has decided to see if the hunting grounds is still available in the tower. And before we make our way to the tower, we have a couple of things that we are overdue on. In particular, the sector events. We were supposed to be rolling our sector event usage die when we completed story arcs, and I think we have failed to do that for the past two that we've completed, the Starlight Inn and the meeting at the Archivist, which was the very last one. So we're going to take care of that right now as the first thing, and we roll a d8 to do this. So rolling a d8 for the first usage die. We get a 3, so we're still on the d8. Roll it again, we get a 2. So a 1 or a 2 means we step down on our usage die. So let me make a note of that. Wherever my pencil went, this one will work. We are on a d6 now. Okay, that is noted. d6. Next time we roll a usage die for the sector event. We have a curse or an illness, which was a twist, I believe, at the Starlight Inn that we never dealt with. And I decided that it was going to be a curse that is going to occur. And when I rolled up what the curse was, I got -2 on Fortitude that will go away whenever we go up a level. So I think what happened while Arctic was in the Starlight Inn in the crowd, there was someone doing something, and he inadvertently got caught up in just by virtue of being there, just kind of got this curse thrown on him. It's so -2 Fortitude. So I have notated that on the player sheet here, a temporary -2 on our Fortitude. So that's that. We do have to do our wrath check. So we have a heavenly wrath of 1. So wrath check again, we roll a d20. As long as we don't get a 1 in this case, we're good. So an 11 means no wrath, heavenly wrath event, or wrath, whatever I'm trying to say. Not going to happen today. We do need a new story arc, which I have already annotated on here. It's going to be the hunting grounds, because we needed something to do for a week, and we're going to go check out the hunting grounds. But let's see if we have a twist in our hunting ground expedition this time. I do say it's a 2 in 6 chance because we have a curse that we had to deal with. We also have no money, and we're kind of at the mercy of our surroundings currently. So I don't think Ardric is really in control of too much as things are at the moment. So a 1 or 2. Oh, and we do get a twist. Oh boy. So there is a twist. So let's deal with the twist right quick. We're gonna deal with twist, playing without a The DM is in this section right here. Here we are. We have a surprise event. Surprise events. So here we go. We have surprise event. We roll 2d8s. 1, 2. Let's use this one. All right. Roll 2d8s. So um, we're gonna do the row with the green and the column with the purple. Here we go. So row 3, column 1. So row 3 is the environment. Look over here on the book. Is the environment, and row 1 is natural. So the natural the natural environment is going to be our twist. I think this is probably not what this usually means, but I am going to run with it in this case. So an event related to your surroundings, often a sudden change of weather or perhaps a change in a trial's surroundings. So maybe there'll be some weather when he gets to his hunting grounds. Maybe that's what that means. So we'll think on that. But we do have this twist. Okay. And it was environment. We track that, and it's something to do about the natural environment. So that says weather or some event, earthquake or something going on somewhere. All right, so hunting grounds. We're going to pick our story back up right here. He makes his way to the tower and up to one of the kiosks and looks in. The hunting grounds is still an option. He selects it, and a teleport token drops into the slot. Ardrick picks it up and looks it over, wondering what's going to happen when he invokes this one. Because if you recall, he's a new descendant. He's never been to a hunting ground, so he's not real sure what this might mean. So he goes ahead and stuffs this into his pocket and steps away from the kiosk and turns to leave the tower when all of a sudden his vision blurs and he's suddenly drifting through a tunnel of streaming lights. And a few seconds later, he feels firm ground under his feet and his vision begins to clear. He finds himself in a forest. It's quite warm and humid as well. Now, he had a twist. And so let's see what the issue is. So we could have weather, so it could be raining. It could be a downpour as opposed to just a light rain. It could be what is some other options? Could be maybe a drought is occurring in this region, which would have an effect. Let's go with those three. I think that's fine. So I'll roll a d6. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Here we go. And you can see that clearly, I think, right there. That is a 1. So it is raining. What we have learned. It's quite warm and it's a little more humid than usual, and it's actually raining. So fun. He also notices this is not like his forest back home. There's a lot more vegetation. The leaves on the trees are shaped oddly. Perhaps like some creatures. It's hard to tell. It looks like they might be creatures. He's completely unfamiliar as to what creatures they might be. He doesn't recognize what they are, but they do look like creatures of some kind. So the question that we now have is, does Ardrick realize where he is? So that's an interesting question. We're going to do a standard check. Do that. We roll a d20 for a skill check. Standard means we have a target number of 12. And on his presence, he has a +1. Get an 11 higher. and we get a 3. So Roderick does not know where he is. So that's interesting. Um, we did get an action and theme for the forest and the hunting grounds when I rolled it. And I got share an animal. So I believe the nature of the leaves is to give you a visual indicator to share, for instance, to share what it is that is lurking about. So it's kind of informational. It's not anything like super mysterious anyway, or weird, or you know adversarial or dangerous. It's just some information sharing. So there is that. But he doesn't know he doesn't know he's at the hunting grounds. He's a little disturbed about what it is he's at. So we'll take that into consideration as we begin. And what are we going to begin doing? Well, we have reached the point in our episode where we are going to do a random hex crawl, which is how Ruthless Heavens Boundless Fates handles these unscripted hunting grounds. So each hex represents 20 kilometers. We can travel 1 hex per day. Again, as an ascendant, we don't necessarily need to sleep, so we can spend the whole day um, traversing these grounds and exploring them without resting, unless we gain some experience in some kind. Then we'll want to meditate to capture those, of course. But anyway, yeah, that's how the travel works. Each time we enter a hex, we have to roll a d12. There's a 1 in d12 chance for an encounter. This includes hexes that we've already passed through or explored. So every time we enter a hex, regardless of whether we've been there or not, or explored it or not, we roll a d12 to see if there is a hex, an encounter. If there is an encounter, there's a table on page 190 in the book for what you might have run into. We do have the option to explore a hex, which takes 1 full day. So it'll take you a day to travel to the hex and a day to explore it if you wish to do that. And if you do that, you can roll on the point of interest table, which is on page 193. And that is that. Now I have added one little thing to this hex crawling that I thought might make this a little more immersive. And it's a pretty simple rule here. To add a little flavor to each of the hexes, I roll a d6 and a 1 and 3, or a 1 or 2 on the d6. That means we have indicated there's something unique about this hex. And by unique, I mean something about the landscape that is unique. Nothing related to points of interest that we might have found or anything like that. So on my little table here, it's just a little d6 table that I have. So if it's because our base hex and region that we're in is subtropical and forested. So I have this table for a subtropical forest flavoring table, we'll call it. So on a 1, it's a lake or a pond. So this hex contains a lake or a pond. We can kind of role play that out a little bit. Or there's a clearing or less trees. This area is less wooded. It's a little more open in this hex. If I get a 3, there's a hill of some kind. Either the whole hex or some portion of the hex there's a hill, or maybe hills, maybe some rolling hills in this little 20-kilometer area. If it's 4, it's more heavily wooded, so it's it's pretty wooded already, but in this area it's super dense. There's may reduce our movement speed, may actually be affected because it's so dense. That is definitely a possibility. If you get a 5, there's a river or a stream or some wetlands or some combination of the 3 that are occupying this hex. And then if we get a 6, there is a path or a game trail that we have run across. on this hex. And I did make myself a note that I say to use the best judgment based on the surrounding hexes already mapped. So if I get a pond in one, um, and I'm not sure. Probably we won't have to lose a lot of a judgment. I think these might fit together pretty nicely. So yeah, I don't think there's a combination that might come up that would look weird, but we'll see. We can definitely think on that a bit when we have a flavor that comes up. So, and then the only other thing we are going to do is with a hex crawl, we need a hex map. In the book, when you get a hunting ground, you have to decide how big of an area it is, and to do that, you roll a d10 and add 10, and that's the number of hexes in the hunting ground. I did that. I got 20 hexes, so I rolled a 10. So our hunting ground in this case is 20 hexes. We have a job starting in 1 week, so that's 7 days that we need to keep a note of to get a blank paper to keep track of what we find in our hexes. Let's put paper in here. We'll put the book in here. And we will go on about this way. We need a d12 and a d6. And we start at the bottom hex. So we are in hex 18, whether we know it or not. And we'll see if he can figure out when he's in the hunting ground or not. Because he doesn't know where he's at, and he's a little, weirded out by the leaves that are clearly shapes of something. In fact, as he moves around a little bit, he notices the leaves of the nearest trees to him. Those leaves change to look like him. So now he's really weirded out. So we'll take his cognitive situation in account as we move through this. So we're going to, I think he's going to move very carefully. So he will explore this hex. But first we need to determine if we have an encounter and what the flavor is. So I bump everything I've got around me. Let's roll that. We get a 12 on the encounter die, no hex. But we did get a 2 on the flavor die. For the flavor die, we have a 2, so that means we roll on our subtropical forest flavor table. Let's do that right quick. We get a 2 again. So there's a clearing. Okay, so this area is a forest and it's raining, is a clearing. So he must have landed next to a couple of trees, but there's not a lot of trees. And there's kind of a clearing out in front of him. Less trees. So that's how he discovered that the tree, oops, give me a sheet around. The tree is the leaves are changing on his to match what he looks like. So, all right, he is going to explore it. So that means we roll on the table on page 190. So 190 is right here. Nope, 190 is not it. That's the random encounter table. 193. 193. And we roll on the point. If you want to explore a hex, you must spend a whole day. This includes setting up camp for a couple of hours to rest, meditate, doing other similar non-consequential actions, cooking, eating, etc. When choosing to explore a hex, roll on the point of interest table. So I think if we get a lair, we will go back here to the random encounters and see what kind of a lair we get. I think that is how we will resolve a lair. So anyway, let's roll a d10 and see what we find right here. A 1. 1 is a natural landmark. It's a unique tree, a rock formation, a geographical feature, a canyon, plateau, etc. Our geographical feature we discovered is just a clearing with less trees. So let's roll a d20 on the natural landmark table. And here it is. We get a 12. And a 12 is a precarious path across a chasm formed from the petrified remains of colossal creatures. Ooh. So not only is it a clearing, but there is a chasm as well. That's probably why there's a clearing, because there's just a void space where there's no trees growing. A chasm, and we need to cross it on the remains of some colossal creatures. It requires a dex check, standard dex check to avoid falling. Let's hope we don't fall. We need to do a dex check to pass. So, all right. Well, I don't think we have the option to avoid it. So, standard dex check. Our dexterity gives us a +1 on our dex check. So here we go. Please don't fail us, feet. Here we go. Oh dear, we get a 3. Or I mean, he's not the most athletic of creatures that we know. So, but I think he does have a skill that will help him out. He has glide. It's a free action. It's always ever flowing, so he doesn't fall or take damage. He just floats calmly to the bottom of the chasm. So we are in the bottom of the chasm, but at least we didn't, at least no damage. We do have that going for it. So now we have to try to get out of the chasm. How do we get out of the chasm? That's a good question. The chasm, I think we could probably walk along the bottom of the chasm. Does it look like we could climb out? Are the edges, the sides of the chasm appearing like we could climb out? I think let's ask the oracle if that is true. So we have to decide. We have to decide if it is almost impossible, very unlikely, 50-50. I think it's unlikely. What do you think? There's a chasm. You had to fall in. It feels like it could be. I don't know. Maybe it could be likely. I don't have a good feeling for this one. Um, we might just need to roll a yes no, like a 50-50 on this. I think because we don't really know. We don't have any idea how difficult it is to climb up the sides of the chasm. So, yep, 50-50. That means a 10 or higher on D6. We'll see if there's a complication in this case, just in case. Yes. Here we go. Oh, I already have that up. So a 1 is an exceptional no. We cannot. Emphatically not. We cannot get up there. If we get a 1 on the D6, we didn't get a 1 on the D6, we got a 3, so there isn't any complication. But yeah, we're not under any circumstance going to be climbing up the sides of the chasm. So I guess that means we'll be walking along the bottom of it until we reach a point where we can climb out. Or do we have anything else we could do? I wonder if our glide allows us to float, or if it's just like up. I wonder if we can control that, or if it's just to avoid falling and damaging ourselves. Let's look up our skill and see if we can use our glide to get up. Glide says you fall gently, landing on the ground, soft as a feather. You take no damage from falling regardless of the height. So, yeah, we can't go up, but we can come down. So, all right, good to know. Let's see. Don't have a surprise event. Yeah, well, let's just think about this for a minute. So we're in the chasm, and there's no. The chasm leads. It, I mean, it has to eventually peter out. So I think it's okay if we just walk along the bottom of the chasm. So let's see, does the chasm lead us to hex 17, 13, or 19? That is the question. Where does the chasm lead us to? It leads us to 13. So we're going to move, we're going to go through the chasm, and we're just going to say the chasm kind of peters out as it gets to hex 13. And we are going to go into hex 13. And let's roll for an encounter. And let's see if we have any flavoring. Yes, here we go. No encounter, but we do have flavoring. Again, flavoring chart is right here. And right here. And we'll roll a d6. Get a 3. 3 is a hill. So we go from the chasm, right? So that's probably why the chasm petered out. It transitioned into a hill, I would say. Chasm, so let's make a note that the chasm leads to hex 13. And in hex 13, we have a hill, and no encounter this time, at least. We entered it. So there's a bit of a rise in hex 13. And let's keep track of our days too. So we spent a day exploring hex 18. We moved to hex 13, and we're going to spend a day exploring hex 13, third day, and setting up camp, and cooking and meditating and all those other great things. So let's roll a d10 and see what we find in our exploration. Get a 9, which I believe is a remnant. Remnant, page 190, a remnant landmark. That's like a ruin or something of that nature. So we roll a d20 on the remnant landmarks, see what we have found. And here is our roll. Get an 11. It's a haunted theater. So a ruined theater echoes with phantom performances, voices echoing through its halls. I can do a pre-check. And become a participant in the spectral play, giving me a temporary +5 bonus to pre-check for the next 24 hours. Ooh, that might be fun. Let's see if we do. Let's see if we do that. Let's see if Ardrick can. I mean, he's like talent song. They like song and dance and theater like that. Let's do a pre-check. I think we said he has a +1 on his currently. Yep, +1. It's a standard pre-check. We haven't done too good on our skill check, on our attribute checks yet. Let's see if we improve our luck here on it. We get a 16. So yes. we succeeded on the pre-check, and we joined in on the spectral play, and we had a wonderful time. Did some singing and dancing right up our Talon song alley, uh, and that was lovely. So we get a +5 bonus to our pre for the next 24 hours, which will be spent here. So for the next 24 hours, get a +5 on pre-checks. So good. Very nice. Look over here. We might be back. So Hill 13, Hill, and there's a ruined spectral theater, which if we do a pre-check, you join, and if you succeed, you get for 24 hours +5 on 3. All right. So that is the end of our third day. Let's see where we move on to from here. So we can go to 17, 12, 8, 14, or 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's roll a d10 for that. And we have that up on the screen. So we have 5. So 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hex 8. Moved up to hex number 8. And we will see if there is anything of note here or a encounter. There is no encounter, and there is nothing of note. So that means there is standard tropical, subtropical forest with the leaves that are changing shapes to match features. In fact, as he passes by a tree, it changes to look like him. So the leaves are dynamic, and they make an appearance of whatever the last creature is that passed by them, perhaps, is what it looks like. So standard forest, no encounter, there's nothing special here. Does he spend any time exploring it, though, is the question. I don't know. Let's just do the consult the oracle on a 50-50. We get a 13, so that is a yes. And do we have any application? No. Okay. So, yep, he will go ahead and explore it. So that is a D10. Get a 5, which I think that is a lair. So we may get into a little bit of a fight. That is over here. 5 is a, oh no, it is a landmark. So we roll another D10. See what kind of a landmark we get. We get a 4. So the 4 is a natural landmark again. Another natural landmark. So we roll a D20. Get an 11. An 11 is the remnants of an ancient technology fused with flesh and bone. Hidden dangers lurk, malfunctioning traps, engineer creations, and irradiated zones. Hey, so we find some ancient technology. Ruins. Remnants. There's going to be some malfunctioning traps and irradiated zones. So I I don't think Arderick is going to spend much time here. I mean, while he did enjoy the theater, this is not something he would likely dive into. So he's going to just steer clear of um, this area, uh, not wanting to get involved with any of that. So that is another day spent. We traveled as one. We explored. We traveled. We explored. All right, so we're going to travel to the next one. So we went to hex 8. We can now go to 12. Go backwards. Back to the hill and the theater. I don't know why. Been 24 hours, or +5 is probably gone. I think we'll continue forward into unexplored hex. Oh, let's see. 12. 4, 5 again. So is a D10. Get a 10. So 8, 10 is hex 14 over here. Hex 14. Let's see if we have a encounter. We get a 12 and we don't have any flavor, so those things are out. And then so it's a standard forest, subtropical forest type of terrain so far. Do we investigate it? He's a little shaken up by the last one he found, but has he figured out where he's at yet? That is a good. Could have done that when we had the pre-check, but yeah, I think we'll explore this one and then we'll take a little bit of time to see if he has figured out where he's at. Explore, we get a D10. Roll a D10, we get 4. It's a natural landmark again. We'll do our presence check to see if we figure out where we're at. We get 3 again, so nope. He's still not sure how he got here, or anything about why he's here. Poor Arderick, he's clueless. Poor guy. But we do have a resource. We have a natural landmark that we need to identify. So, oops. We were already there. We get an 11. Oh, and it's more of the same. So hex 8 and 14. So this area is the same as this area. More ancient technology. Maybe this is something to do with why the trees are acting the way they are. Maybe some of this technology went awry and affected the nature. Possibility. So yeah, Arik, he didn't get anywhere near that one, so he's definitely not gonna get into this one either. Only have 4 options for where we're gonna go again. So we spent a day searching this one, so that's 1 travel. Search and travel, that's 3. Search and travel, that's 5. Search is 6. So we could travel to another hex, and then we need to get back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a D8. We can use a D4. Okay, D4. A 4. So 4 is that we were in hex 14. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to hex 19. So hex 19 is next to hex 18, which had the chasm. and it's next to hex 13, which has the hill, and it's underneath hex 14, which has technology, and it's at the edge of the hunting grounds as well. So we could step out of the edge of this. Let's see if there's an encounter or a flavor. Out. And encounter. 5, flavor 4, no. Neither one. So this hex, we're not going to get a chance to explore it. Standard forest. Unexplored. Okay, and that is his 7th day. So Arderic is going to have to return back because he has a job that starts tomorrow. So he's going to need to get back in time for that. So he will just travel through this hex out of the edge of the hunting forest area and be transported back to Eros. I think that concludes our hunting grounds story arc. And we'll start our job as the security guard on the next episode and see what we get into. We also have our summon and conquer trial we need to deal with. But because we have concluded our hunting grounds, we're going to take care of one thing before we forget it this time. And we are going to do our usage die for a sector event, which is now a D6. And we get a 4. So no closer to a sector event this time. So that is it. That is our little hunting ground introduction. Next time we do a hunting ground, we'll try to have some more time so we could explore more of the hexes. That was kind of fun, and maybe get into a fight. Because at the hunting grounds, you really should find something to fight. Is what would be good. But we didn't find anything to give us any experience or any money or any items we could sell. So I'm a little disappointed in the trip to the hunting grounds, to be honest. But sometimes that is the way it goes. We are going to call it right there. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode and introduction into hex crawling and the hunting grounds rule set for Ruthless Heavens, Boundless Fate. And until next time, I am the Solitary GM, and see ya.